It is Prediction Friday. We are going to get into all our bold takes, offensive and defensive players of the game for the San Francisco 49ers versus the Rams. All our reads on the game, what we think is going to happen, and who is going to step up amidst all the injuries and the likelihood that Kittle is going to be out. We already know Deebo, CMC are going to be out. So we got to figure out who's going to be that guy for the San Francisco 49ers in this game against the Rams. So those are going to be all the things that we're going to be talking about today. So drop your SDS in the chat, check in on this Prediction Friday, and we are going to get into it all right. Yeah. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. What is going down, Sourdough Squad? Happy Friday to you, Daniel. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Shout out to everyone. Daniel says, Niners blowing out the Rams Sunday. My Rams are done. Aloha, Sean. Good to see you in the chat. Shout out to SDS. Hey, keep this in mind. We'll do our sleeper picks once we go through our breakdown and we get through all this good stuff that we got to cover today. But keep those picks in mind because I'm going to need your help as we build out a slip for this upcoming week against the San Francisco 49ers. Little Heater says it's going to look like a preseason game. Well, a little bit, because we do know that there are multiple players who are going to be out for this game against the 49 or against the Rams and for the 49ers. Let's talk about it now. Let's talk about the players who are out. Let's talk about how the 49ers overcome it, and then we will go through our thoughts on the rest of the depth chart. And we'll see. We'll see how the 49ers come out on top with this one with Brock Purdy. And, of course, we got to see who is going to step up in this matchup. But let's at first take a look at some of the players who will be out. And it's on both sides. Both teams are going to be banged up in this one. So when you're looking at the list, and if we start at the top, the Rams are going to be without Davis Allen, who's their backup tight end. They're going to be without Cooper Kupp. They're going to be without Puka Nacua. They have a couple guys that are questionable, and Kobe Durant and Bobby Brown. Tre'Davious White doesn't appear to be playing. It looks like Josh Johnson is out, or not Josh Johnson. Their safety, Johnson, is going to be out. An offensive lineman or two are dinged up. So the Rams are coming into this game pretty banged up. And then obviously for the 49ers, George Kittle, we're pretty much betting that he's going to be out for this game. And then Charvarius Ward is questionable. Nick Bosa is questionable. Nick Bosa was limited for the Thursday and Friday practices, whereas Charvarius did not participate on Thursday and was limited on Friday. So it feels like Bosa is most likely trending towards playing, whereas Charvarius Ward, we're a little bit, I'm still optimistic, but we're going to have to see when it comes to the final game day report. So we gotta wait for that. But we already know Deebo Samuel is going to be out. And then when you look at Talanoa Hufanga and D. Winters, that's some good news. Those two guys will be returning in this game against the Rams. So you like to see that. Both Hufanga and D. Winters will be playing in this game. So that is good news for the San Francisco 49ers as they get ready to head to Levi South. I don't know why. I need someone who knows the answer to this to let me know, why do the Rams allow the 49ers to wear their home red jerseys in their own home stadium? Why do they do that? I need answers, because I know that the Rams, they're not a big fan. They are not a big fan of the 49ers continually taking over their stadium. Um, to the point where I know someone who got invited to go to the Rams game into one of their luxury suites by the Rams, and the Rams said there's no rules except one rule. Don't wear red to this game. You can come into our luxury box for free. You just can't wear red. Like, oh, really? So that's the rule, is that we can step into your luxury box for free, but I can't be wearing Niner gear. Interesting. So the Rams, they're going to be wearing their white jerseys, their bone jerseys, I think is what it's called. And the 49ers will be rocking home reds for the second year in a row. And listen, I went to the game last year. I'm going to go to the game this year again, just because it was such a cool experience. I'm going to go again. The Rams are completely outnumbered by 49er fans. Like, it's not even close, honestly. It is overwhelmingly red inside that building, and the noise matches. I have to believe they might be pumping in a little bit of crowd noise, because I don't understand how it gets that loud when it's whose house? Rams house. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense, because it's all 49er fans in that building. Again, I was sitting next to a Rams fan, and they're like, "This is insane, man. This is crazy. I've never seen anything like this." It's a wild one. Alan says, is Brendel our better option at center? Actually, Chris Forster was kind of asked about this, and he listed off like 7 or 8 things that Brendel is better at than the guys behind him. So although I will agree that I do think Brendel has struggled, I don't think Brendel has played to the level that I've seen him play. I think he has struggled, absolutely, in multiple spots. I will say he has done a pretty decent job at getting to second level. I mean, you go and you watch the highlights of Jordan Mason. Brendel is blocking the backer, pretty crucial block in every single one. So Brendel it's not all bad with Brendel, but based on my evaluation, I don't think Brendel is playing as good as Brendel can play. I've seen Brendel play better. So I'm not comparing him to anything else other than him. And so what I've seen for the first 2 weeks of Brendel is, I can't imagine, if you asked Brendel, how would you self-assess your play for the first 2 weeks compared to how you've played in the past, that he would say he's playing better than he's played. So the thing is like, it's really difficult to make a switch, especially at center. And when you're switching to a guy like Nick Zakelj, who has way less experience, has also isn't, a perfect player at this stage in his career. So it's like their best bet right now is Brendel until Feliciano gets back. Now, my hope is that Brendel, I know he's seeing the noise based on some of the social media interactions. My hope for him is he comes out, has a great game, and kind of reestablishes himself. I know he's been a little banged up. It perfectly said. Remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. He hasn't started great, but I do think he needs to. I think he needs to play better. I don't think that is a crazy thing to say. I think there have been instances where he can improve, and that's what you want to see. Doesn't mean it's been all bad. Doesn't mean it's been uh, all all bad. But it also hasn't been great. So, and that's just my completely objective opinion on what I've watched and what I've studied of him through these first 2 weeks. And so I want to see him take steps forward, and I think he can. But let's see it. Let's see it. All right. So let's also take a look at this Rams offense, and let's try to take a look and see how we think. I'm looking at that's our offense. Oh, hey, that's not the Rams. That's us. Let's take a look at the Rams depth chart. All right, here we go. So we're looking at an offense with Matthew Stafford. Again, you got Jimmy Garoppolo. So obviously Jimmy Garoppolo is gonna share what he knows. We'll see if that has any actual benefit. I tweeted out earlier this week that I realized that Jimmy Garoppolo was going to be pretending to be Brock Purdy in scout team offense for the Rams, which is a pretty funny twist, wouldn't you say? That with all the things that we had went through with Jimmy Garoppolo, that here we are at this stage, and now Jimmy Garoppolo is actually replicating and trying his best Brock Purdy impression for the 49ers or the Rams defense. Now, if there's anyone who's going to do a good Brock Purdy impression, it will probably be Jimmy Garoppolo. He knows his tendencies. He knows Brock. So Jimmy is actually probably going to be the best scout quarterback to give a opposing starting defense a quality look on what Brock Purdy is, what he's trying to read, what he's keying on, all those different things. So it is going to be interesting to see what's Kyle and Brock's plan to counteract. I feel like the 49ers keep running up against teams that know a lot about them. You think about the first week against the Jets, you had Robert Saleh and his whole crew. Then you have, you go to Minnesota, and their general manager was a former executive for the 49ers, and O'Connell's off the Kyle Shanahan tree. And yeah. And then this week, you have LaFleur, who was, I believe, he's either the run game or the pass game coordinator for the 49ers. He went to be the OC with the Jets. I believe he is now the OC for the Rams. So the Rams know what the 49ers are trying to cook up. Everyone knows this business is so crazy because everyone just ends up working for another team. And with the way that Kyle Shanahan has operated his system and the coaches that he's developed, they're all over the league. So everyone knows like what the 49ers are trying to do. So I'm just really curious to see what are the counters to that. Now, obviously, the Rams are beat up. No Cooper Kupp, no Puka Nacua. That's tough. Obviously, no Jonah Jackson, no Steve Avila. So their offense definitely not operating at 100%. So when we look at the wide receivers, you've got Demarcus Robinson coming in, who's kind of been a journeyman, like he I don't think he's ever been a starter in this league until now. Tyler Johnson, who he did show a lot of promise with the Tampa Bay Bucks at one point early on in his career. Was able to really latch on with them. He now finds himself in a prominent role. Tutu Atwell, former second-round draft pick, moves really well. Jordan Whittington, a guy I actually spoke to at the combine, really like his mentality. It'll be interesting to see if he does anything. But they're hurt now. Kyron Williams, he's a good running back. He's a guy that they're probably going to want to try to lean on quite a bit, and is probably going to get a lot of touches, whether in the run game or in the passing game out of the backfield. So I think one of the first keys for the 49ers is neutralize Kyron Williams. If they can take Kyron Williams out of this game and they put the onus on Matthew Stafford to get it done solely on his arm, the 49ers are going to be able to force Matthew Stafford into one or two bad throws that could result in turnover-worthy plays. So that's the way that I'm looking at this. And when you look at their offensive line, Alaric Jackson starting at left tackle, Logan Bruce, Bao Limmer, Kevin Dotson, Rob Havinston. This, again, is an offensive line that the 49ers should dominate. Now, if you guys have been with us on our Prediction Friday journey over the last couple years, I cannot think of how many times we have done these previews. We've looked at a banged up offensive line that the 49ers defensive line was playing against, and we've said, oh, the 49ers defensive line is going to eat. They're going up against a bunch of backups, and they do nothing. This is my challenge to you, 49ers defensive line, because I know Nick Bosa, Javon Hargrave, Malik Collins, Leonard Floyd, Gross Matos, Jordan Elliott, Kevin Givens. They're all watching the show right now. They're all watching. They want to see what I got to say. This is what I got to say. Wreck this game, because so far the track record says that when backups are in, that doesn't happen. So my challenge to the 49ers defensive line is be the difference in this game. Take over the game. Take Kyron Williams out of this game and get to Matthew Stafford. Get after these guys. Like, come on, D-line. I need D-line to show up. I don't want to come on the pregame show and be like, guys, I thought the D-line was going to eat today against these backups, but they didn't. Come on, D-line. I believe in you. Yeah, we're doing reverse psychology. The D-line is going to get 0 sacks, quarterback hits, and pressures. That's what we're saying. We're at the point where we're starting to invoke reverse psychology on the defensive line when the opposing team's offensive line is banged up. Because we always say, oh, Bosa's got a backup tackle, or we got backup interior offensive linemen. These guys are about to feast, and it's crickets. So let's see, defensive line, because I do think if the defensive line comes out and they have a good game, that though that front four could be the difference in this matchup. Obviously, we know Fred is going to Fred. Fred is playing at the highest level right now of any defensive player in the league. And on top of that, you get Talanoa Hufanga back, and you are going to be able to pair him with Jair Brown, which I do think will be a huge benefit to both. And then in regards to the cornerbacks, obviously Diamador Lenore, Charvarius Ward still playing at a high level. But we got to see who that third guy is. Is it Yadam? Is it Renardo? Who's going to step up into that role? And also D. Winters is back. Does D. Winters take a more prominent role at linebacker in his first game action of the season? So to me, on paper, this is an offense that the 49ers defense should obliterate. So I'm going to use reverse psychology. I think the defense is going to struggle here. No, in all seriousness, the defense should have a good game. We get it. Matthew Stafford, still a good quarterback. Kyron Williams, a really good running back. You know, so I don't know. The expectation is for this defense to feast. I just don't want to. I don't want to come back on live and be like, "Oh, what happened?" I no idea. We thought they were going to go crazy, stupid, doo doo dummy, but nothing happened. I don't know. Um, yeah, we'll see. But I'm going to kick it over to you guys. Who will be the defensive player of the game? Based on you had to work through some of the reverse psychology here. Um, who do you think's going to ball out? I feel like the easy answer for defensive player of the game would be Fred. And why wouldn't it be? Fred has been an absolute freak of nature. He is playing like he's been possessed by every single Hall of Fame linebacker who's ever lived, and is channeling that onto the field. So Fred is a safe answer. So think outside the box here when you're going defensive player of the game, because I think we all agree that it probably will be Fred. That's just how high of a level he is playing at. So who's going to be the other guy, the other, the other defensive player of the game? Who's going to be the one to stand out and be like, don't forget about me? Because Lenore last year had the game sealing interception on Matthew Stafford. Um, you had some guys step up. So obviously early, I like this. Invader says Lenore. Huff gets a pick six. I like that. Fred, rightfully so. Devondre Campbell. I like that. Fred. Fred. Um Justin dropping the first who bang. Strawberry says we need another INT and forced fumble from Fred. I want to see someone else. Like, not that I don't want to see Fred have a insane game. I want to see someone else have an insane game. Bosa had 2 sacks. Bosa had 2 sacks last game. Can he rack up back-to-back multiple sack productions? We'll see. Demo. There's nobody else but Fred. Fred will save our season and get us to the playoffs. The next Bill Romanowski. Oh, man, this is where I'm going. This has got to be a Bosa game. I need a Bosa domination. I know Bosa popped up onto the injury report. He's dealing with a little bit of something right now. But for me, I want to see Bosa go out and just absolutely dominate this. I want to see, and it doesn't even have to be in the form of like sack production. I would prefer to see constant pressure, like tackle for losses in the run game. I would like to see more domination from Bosa in a less like stat padding way, if that makes sense. If I'm tracking, like, I don't really care about the sacks right now. I actually want to see more disruptive. I want to see him disruptive on play in, play out. I want to see him be an absolute problem. I want to see the Rams offense sliding their full protection towards Bosa, chipping him with running backs, chipping him with tight ends. I want to see them locked in on trying to stop Nick Bosa because he's a madman. He's ripping through offensive linemen and tight end and running over running backs and just like, and again, I'm fine if it's Hargrave or it's Floyd or it's Collins who clean it up. I want to see the disruption start with Bosa. So for me, I'm calling for Nick Bosa to be the defensive player of the game because we're going up against some mid tackles, right? Don't make me regret it. Don't make me regret saying we're going up against a mid offensive line and then we get nothing in return. So I am cautious of that. We've gotten bitten in the past, being like, again, I already explained it. So come on, Nick. Let's ball. And honestly, if it was anyone on the defensive line for that matter, I would be happy. But yeah, I want to see Nick Bosa just go crazy. That's what I'm looking for in this game for the defensive player of the game. All right, let's take a look over at the defensive side of the ball. So we know that they're going to be hurt here. We have Braden Fisk. So this will be our first time looking at this defense post Aaron Donald, right? Did he retire this year? Did he retire last year? I can't even remember. But anyways, I'm going to pretend like he just retired this year. I'm just going to pretend. Just ride with me. I don't care if he retired last year. Just ride with me. This is going to be the first time we haven't seen this defensive line without Aaron Donald. So Braden Fisk, obviously, I think it was a second-round draft pick out of Florida State. He lit up the combine. He was one of the I don't know. He's one of those guys that heads into the combine like a 5th, 6th round draft prospect, and then he ends up a high second as a result of his performance at the NFL Combine. Just absolutely lit it up. And so he's the type of guy who's got a consistent motor. He's like a little bit faster, little bit quicker. And again, this is a comp for him in college. A little bit of that Justin Smith type vibe, the 3-tech defensive tackle who's got a nonstop motor, strong, and can just really get on his horse and just is constantly around the football. That's what he kind of reminded me of coming out of Florida State. I'm not saying that's what he is in the NFL. I'm just saying when I saw him in college, that was kind of the vibes I got. So I haven't watched any of him since he's been in the NFL. So it'll be my first time taking a look at Fisk. So I'm excited to see what that bears out to. If you've been rocking with the channel for a while, I know Justin's in here. It's not disrespect to the Cowboy if I was talking about him in college. I'm not saying he's Justin Smith in the NFL. There's a big difference. But Byron Young, we know Byron Young very well. He was I was put on by Justin. He became a draft crush of mine. Got to speak to him at the Combine. He was another huge Combine riser, and he's turned out to be one of the top rookie defensive players last year. So Byron Young is young, but he's very good. Kobe Turner, he's good as well. They're young. They have a young defensive line, but they are pretty solid. So we'll see. We'll see how this offensive line bounces back in this performance. I really do think that this needs to be a big bounce back game for the O-line, specifically the interior. I think we've talked about it quite a bit on this channel. I'm less concerned about Colton McKivitz and Trent Williams. It's the interior. It's the interior three need to come together and play consistent and do their jobs consistently. I need all three of them doing their jobs consistently, and it will make the offensive line look much better as a whole if all three just do their job at the same time. So as a result of that, they have the opportunity to get the leg up on this defensive line, but they have to play 49ers brand of ball, which again, some might scoff at that idea, but they just need to be consistent. That's all I'm asking for. I don't need crazy pancakes. I don't need just blowing the guy off the ball 40 yards downfield. I just need consistent blocks. Work your technique. Get your hat on the right shoulder. Work your hips around. Good hand placement. You know, just do your job. Just do your job. That's it. And the 49ers offensive line should have a bounce back game. And obviously, they have Jordan Mason, who has been playing phenomenally. Uh, yes, they have Deshaun Johnson, another another huge draft crush of Justin's. They've been watching Justin's Twitter religiously. But the 49ers run game, they should be able to run on this defense. That's really my read on this. Is yes, they added Jared Verse. I don't think, we'll see what Verse looks like. But I really do think this front seven you could take advantage of. I think you can run on this defense. I think you can play smash mouth football with this defense. This could be a game where we're seeing 30 plus rushes a game. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping it's death by Jordan Mason for this Rams defense. And they should be able to execute. So keep feeding me pitch right. The 49ers have been cooking on pitch right, running behind Colton McKivitz and Dominic Pooney. Keep feeding me pitch right all day. So far, Jordan Mason has been absolutely feasting on that pitch right play. So we'll see if it continues or not. I do like Cameron Curl, who will be stepping in. They've got a rookie I'm pretty sure he's a rookie, Cameron Kitchens. Yeah, third round draft pick this year. So this is a guy that should have a target on his head. 49ers should be attacking this rook. Obviously, John Johnson is out. Attack the rook. Go make this guy's life hell and make him cover. Obviously, the 49ers won't be able to take advantage of the safety mismatches as much without George Kittle being available, which we understand and is an unfortunate loss here. But Eric Saubert is honestly pretty good. Like, really. He was a guy who stood out to me during training camp. He had a really natural connection with Brock Purdy early on. So, and he blocks really well. So I'm really not too yes, he's not George Kittle. Let's keep it a buck. He's not George Kittle, but he's more than serviceable. He's not like, oh God, what are we gonna do? Like Charlie Warner. I loved Charlie Warner because Charlie Warner was a phenomenal blocker. But I did not love Charlie Warner as a pass catcher. He's not a guy where I'd be like, oh, we're fine. We have Charlie Warner. It'd be like, I'm fine with Charlie Warner in the run game, but who's going to be the receiving tight end? Because it's not going to be Charlie Warner. Whereas with Saubert, to me, he's more a complete tight end who can do both. So I feel better about him filling into the role. Obviously, we got to see who's going to be tight end 2. Is it going to be Tonjes? Is it going to be Braden Willis called up from the practice squad? I don't know. We're going to have to find that out. But actually not too upset with Saubert. So I think Saubert could do a good job here, take advantage of these safeties. We'll see. Maybe it's Jawan Jennings who takes advantage of these safeties. Maybe they run 3 wide receiver sets. You get Brandon Aiyuk, Jawan Jennings, insert Chris Conley, insert Jacob Cowing, insert Ronnie Bell. And let's see who they put the safety on. Do they put the safety on Salbert? Do they put the safety on maybe they see Jawan? They're like, we need to bracket Jawan over the middle. Use Jawan like the big old move tight end. No disrespect to Jawan, by the way. Tre'Davious White. So I don't know what his status is. So I've never seen this injury designation. It says NIR-rest. I don't know what that means. There's no designation for Wednesday or Thursday's practice, and then on Friday it says DNP. So he didn't participate at all. So I'm going to go ahead and say Tre'Davious White is, based on this report, it looks like he's out. So I'm not counting Tre'Davious White playing. So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. This, again, is a defense that the 49ers should absolutely take advantage of, even without Deebo Samuel, even without George Kittle, even without Christian McCaffrey. I do think, again, doesn't mean that they can't play competitively and they can't, give the 49ers fits. They get paid millions of dollars to play this game as well. But I have high expectations for this team. And I think we've seen typically the 49ers play decently well when they're getting chirped a lot. So, or when they're pissed off. That's kind of what I want to see. I want to see a pissed off offense. I want to see Brock Purdy have a fire lit under him, kind of like what we saw in a comeback attempt against the Minnesota Vikings. I want to see that for 60. And that doesn't mean I want press planes. I don't want Brock playing Superman ball. That's not what I want. I just want to see the energy. There's a palpable energy to the way Brock plays when he's got a fire under him. And that's kind of what I want to see for sure. Michael Carroll says, we've gone from being a possible Super Bowl contender to let's make it out of the first half of the season 500 and get healthy. Our second half of the season is bad. Agree to disagree there. Aponte and I were actually talking about this on State of the Franchise, and it's actually more. We've seen the 49ers start slow more often than they've started fast. There's only 2 seasons where they started out hot, and it was last year when they went 5-0, and it was in 2019 when they went 8-0. Other than that, the 49ers in those other years where they've either, gone to the NFC Championship or whatever, they've not started fast. So that was one of the things that we would always, it was a point of conversation around this team's tendencies, was they are a slow starting team. We heard it from all the players. We want to start out fast because we don't want it to impact our seeding at the end of the year. So it's been an emphasized point that the 49ers more often than not under Kyle have been a slow starting team. So my read on this is I'm really not looking at it. Let's make it out of the first half of the season 500. They have many winnable games in front of them. They got the Rams, then they got the Patriots at home. We just saw the Patriots get dominated by the Jets on primetime football, and we dominated the Jets. So if so facto, we should be able to dominate the Patriots. Cardinals are playing really well, so we'll see about that. I think that will be a solid matchup. But around that time, week 5, we should be getting Ricky Pearsall back. We should be getting Deebo Samuel back and potentially George Kittle. So we should be getting a little bit healthier around that time. And then it's Seahawks, Chiefs, Cowboys, and then bye. I still think the schedule is favorable. I really I really don't. I really don't think that's how. I still don't think that's where we're at. I think this team can still end, the first 8 games with maybe 2 losses, maybe 3, but that's still over 500. Not getting to 500. So I don't know. Respectfully, little pushback on that. Little pushback. I still think it's early in the season, and I still think there's plenty of opportunities for these guys to start clicking. I'm not freaking out about a bad game early on in the year. I would be freaking out more about a bad game late in the year. That's kind of where I'm at with that. So, in regards to this game, I think it's going to be heavily reliant on Brock Purdy, heavily reliant on the offensive line protecting and opening up running lanes, heavily reliant on Jordan Mason getting after it, Jawan Jennings, Brandon Aiyuk, insert wide receiver 3. So Eric Salbert. So out of all these guys, the 49ers are down. That's the big story. Everyone's going to be tuning in to watch this game because everyone has a rooting interest in this game. And the reason why I say that is the people who have defended Brock and the people who have doubted Brock are all watching this game for the same reasons. Can he perform without 3 All-Pros? Because one side's looking at the other side's looking at them, and they're like, well, what is it going to be? What are the talking points going to be for the next week? So a lot of people are interested in the outcome of this game and how Brock Purdy performs because it's going to be their content for the next week, if not more. So no pressure. No pressure at all. So let me ask you, after we've kind of talked about it, we've obviously understand who's available, who's not available. Who is going to be the offensive player of the game? Who do we think that's going to be? Let me know in the chat who is the offensive player of the game against the Rams with no Deebo, no Kittle, no CMC. Who's it going to be? Let me see in the chat. Right out the gate. JP Jennings. He said Stafford. Mason Jar. Nice. Mason or Aiyuk. Mason. Jennings. Conley. Ooh, I like that. A little underrated. Jennings. Mason first and Jawan. Mason. Oh, going off. Jennings. Aiyuk. Brock or Mason. Brock needs BA to catch the ball or get open. Mason. Ooh, I like this one. Offensive line. Ooh, I like that one. I like that one a lot. Oh, I like that one a lot. Phenomenal. I'm always happy to see the offensive line get a nomination for player of the game. Oh, ooh. I'll tell you what. If Jake Brendel comes out and has a great game, I will be the first to shout it from the rooftop that he had a good game. So if Brendel comes out and he's the player of the game, I will be I'll be screaming it from the rooftops. I hope he is. I do. I really do. I'm not rooting for Brendel to fail. I'm rooting for Brendel to get back on track. And if he does that, so this is where I'm at. My brain is telling me Jordan Mason is going to be the offensive player of the game. My brain is also telling me Juwan Jennings is going to have a big game. My heart is telling me Brandon Aiyuk's about to go off. So I'm going to take Brandon Aiyuk as my player of the game. I think BA, I think he's ready. I think, all the things that we had warned against before the training camp holdout, all the things that we have projected of him being rusty to start the year, that's all the reasons why we didn't want the holdout to last into training camp. They came to fruition. It happened. We saw it. All the things that why we said we didn't want Brandon Aiyuk to have this contract thing linger into training camp and miss training camp was for the exact reasons that we have talked about early on in the year. I think he's right. I think I think this is a get right game. I think not only is everyone dogging him, but I also believe the opportunity will be there. I think a lot of attention will go his way according to the defensive game plan. So he's going to be treated like a wide receiver one, with no Deebo, no CMC, no Kittle. I think this is a bit of that type of a game for both Aiyuk and Brock. I think the narratives that are being attached to Brock about, oh, you don't have the Avengers, it also applies to Aiyuk. Is all right, you're now the number one weapon on this offense, right? No Kittle, no Deebo, no CMC. You're going to be one of the main focuses of this defense and taking you away. So now, how do you perform? Same with Brock. You don't have all these weapons. You're going to be the main focus of this defense and how they stop you. How do you perform? So I think this Brock and Aiyuk have the potential to have some fun. And I hope they do. That's really what I like. I would love to see BA 120 plus yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. That's what I would love to see. I would love to see JP gash, play action, 50-yard bomb, Brock to Aiyuk, 6. Gash, play action, screen, gash, play action, slant, deep cross, play action, pass, dime, Aiyuk touchdown. I just want to see a rhythm. I want to see. Can I give out 3 offensive players of the game? I want the offensive players of the game to be Brock, Aiyuk, and Mason. That's what I want. And the offensive line. And Juwan Jennings. So 5. No, that's 10. And Salbert. I want 11 offensive players of the game. Can you do that? It's my show. I'm making a new rule. 11. I want 11 offensive players of the game. That's what I want. I want domination. 12 offensive players of the game. Throwing, counting. But I'm being serious. Like, I want to see full domination. And from an execution standpoint, like, they're just executing, and the Rams, their heads spinning. You're seeing the eyes roll into the back of their heads because they don't know what's happening. That's what I'm looking for. Dominance in the run game, the resurgence of play action, and Brock Purdy tossing dimes and picking these dudes apart, and then Brandon Aiyuk going crazy. That's what I'm looking for. We know Juwan is going to Juwan. He's going to do his thing. Not worried about that. I want to see those guys ball. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'd love to see. I don't know. We'll have to see. So we got a couple more things left, right? We got bull takes, we got score predictions. Not yet though. Since we're fresh off of breaking down the matchup, I think what's best for us is to go straight into our picks. Let's build out a slip. Let's build out a winner. I'll read you what we picked last week. And unfortunately, we didn't win. So we're 0-2 so far on our group slips. And we're going to have to, this feels like a redemption week. This feels like a time where we can rise from the ashes as a group, building our sleeper pick, and we're going to get a dub this week. I feel it. I feel it in my bones because we need it. All right. So again, if you guys are unfamiliar, we're building out our sleeper ticket, and this is going to give us an opportunity to project even further. Basically, it's a put your money where your mouth is segment. That's what this is. We went through, we made our predictions of who's going to be the player of the game. Now it's time to put our money where our mouths are and back it up. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And if you guys want to play along and you want to build out your tickets as well, and again, it could be as little as $5. Doesn't have to be crazy. Just go to the Sleeper app, download Sleeper, and you can get up to $100 deposit match using the promo code SF9ers. So let's get into our ticket. Let's build this bad boy out. Let's get a W here, shall we? All right, let's see. Did you guys win last week? Did we get any winners in the chat who played their picks? We always want to celebrate winners. So if you guys won, let me know. But let's take a look. All right. I feel like we got to go Jordan Mason because I think we're all high on Jordan Mason. And he has anytime touchdown. I want to build a ticket that wins. I'm not going crazy. So I think I'm going to take anytime touchdown with Jordan Mason because I think Jordan Mason's scoring a touchdown. I think it would be crazy to see him not. So I'm going anytime touchdown, Jordan Mason. Now, Juwan Jennings, interesting. 44.5 reception yards. We can go over under. His receptions are set at 3.5 over under. That feels like he could go. Feels like a 4+ reception game for Jennings. He has anytime touchdown and he has a reception TD. Anytime touchdown has crazy good odds. It's a 2.86 multiplier. But again, like I said, I'm just trying to hit. So I think taking the over on 3.5 receptions for Juwan Jennings feels safe, right? That feels safe. Feels like Juwan Jennings is going to get 4 receptions, right? Do we agree with that, chat? Because when we look, now he had 5 receptions against the Jets. He had 2 receptions against the Vikings. But again, Deebo was the dominant force in the passing game there. where now Juwan takes a much larger role. So I'm feeling pretty good about that one. So we have to go with a Rams player. What Rams player do we want to ride with? Like, who do we feel confident in? Is it going to be Kyron Williams getting over 63.5 rushing yards, an anytime touchdown? He's 3.5 receptions. Do we feel confident with Stafford? Do we feel confident Stafford's going to throw a pick? Colby Parkinson receptions. Colby's it's kind of high. 3.5 receptions is where he's at. He only had 4 receptions week 1, 1 reception week 2. 3.5 seems kind of high because we're taking 3.5 over with Juwan. I feel much better about that. Tutu, I actually think Tutu's at the bottom of the list. I think the wide receivers that you want to look at, a sneaky play might be Tyler Johnson. 33.5 yards receiving for Tyler Johnson. So Tyler Johnson had 79 receiving yards week 1, only 20 week 2 though. And they're setting it at 33.5. Colby Parkinson though, 29.5 receiving yards. So that's not crazy. Whittington is at 32.5 receiving yards. I feel like that's a lot. Remember, we can take unders too. We can take unders. Ooh. Tutu Atwell had 48 receiving yards. Ooh, Tutu's actually not bad though, because Tutu is. I think I'm gonna go Tutu. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, last week he had 48 reception yards. His over under is set at 22.5. I think I'm gonna go Tutu with the over on that one. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. All right. I'm going Jordan Mason anytime touchdown, hitting the over. I got Juwan Jennings 3.5 receptions, hitting the over, and we're going Tutu Atwell over 22.5 yards. I think Tutu's been in the doghouse because I do have Tutu in a lot of dynasty leagues, but I think they don't have any other choice but to get Tutu involved, locking it in. All right, hopefully we get that dub right there. So we'll see. We'll see. Again, if you want to play, build out your own little slip again. I just did a $5 slip. $5. If I win, I get 20. Super easy. Not super crazy. You can go crazy. Oh, there are people who go crazy and they actually win a lot of money. So you could do that as well. But again, use the promo code SF9ers, get in on that action. All right, let's get back. Let's get back to it. Give me your bold takes. Give me your bold takes for this one. Offense, defense, could be anything, really. But I want to see bold takes in the chat. We're not doing score predictions just yet. I just want to see the bold takes. So if I had to do a bold take for this game against the Rams, my bold take is Brandon Aiyuk 3 touchdown receptions. I'm going bold. I'm going BA 3 tugs. 3 tugs for BA. Oh, yeah. I'm not the only one. Michael says Trent Williams touchdown or 2-point conversion. Another forced fumble for Fred. Aiyuk over 150 yards, 3 touchdowns. Oh, yeah. We're thinking the same. We're thinking the same. Oh, it's a lot. It's bold. It's bold for show. But I'm feeling bold. I'm feeling like this really should be Aiyuk. It should. We'll see. Purdy throws for 300 and Mason runs for $150. Brock rushing touchdown, one that isn't a QB sneak, 10 plus yards out. I like that. That's a very specific bold take. We like specific bold takes. Hufanga gets an INT. Oh, yeah. We like that. Mason with 30 touches. All right. Brock throws a pick 6. I don't like that one. Cowing, there you go. Justin wants the Cowing touchdown on an end around. I know who Justin's picking for his picks. Justin's definitely gonna have some action on Cowing. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. He's firing up all his Cowing stonks. He's been quietly waiting for this moment. No, I actually wouldn't even say quietly. He's just been waiting for this moment. Juice gets one. Okay. Ooh, okay, Jedi. All right. We got dueling bold takes. He says JJ will score more touchdowns than BA. All right. Wow. Warner gets 3 forced fumbles. Would love to see that. Huff Daddy pick 6. Fred Warner pick. Yep. How about a TD screen to Garendo? I think Garendo's a ways out. We'll see. We'll see. Kendrick clearly a Rams fan. Maybe. Defense will step up and shut down. Anytime TD odds probably go crazy. Oh, that's bold. Arlene says 5 Fred Warner. Fred Warner gets 5 fumbles. Could you imagine a 5 forced fumble game by Fred Warner? The NFL would break. Give him the MVP. If Fred Warner got 5 forced fumbles in one game, I think you'd have to just give him the MVP right away. Did my phone die or did it die? There we go. Mason has 2 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown. Okay. I like it. All right, now I want to see your confidence levels. What are your score predictions? Let me know. What are your score predictions for this game against the Rams? Again, Want to see your confidence levels here. How confident are you? Let's see those score predictions. Drop them in the chat. Let's see. Let's see what you got. All right. Boop. So far, pretty confident. 31-13, 31-6, 28-16. Fair. You know who we've been missing? Jesus. That's what he would used to say. We need to get him back. Someone send out a flare. Where's he at? If you're lurking, show yourself. Niners 27-14, 34-13, 33-13. I said 30-13 to Aponte, so that's my score. I like it staying consistent. A tie. What the 20-15, 30-7. Oh, I like where your head's at, Joy. Like where your head's at. 50. Oh my goodness. 55-10. I guess that's if we do what I said and we get 12 offensive players of the game, 55-10 would be a good indication of that. And that is a very scary profile picture. My score prediction, this to me feels like it should be like 34-17. I feel like they should be able to score into the 30s and they should be able to keep them to like 2 touchdowns and a field goal. I did not miss your score, pal. Kid show. So again, I'm confident. I think the 49ers should run away with this one. That's what I think. So I think they should absolutely take it to them. But we'll see. 33-17, 27-13. So fairly confident by the chat. I like it. Anyone going to the game? Anyone heading to Levi South for this one? Who's going to be repping the red? I typically my game day attire typically consists of all black or around all very neutral colors. But all right, we got one. All right, there we got one going in the chat. There we go. I'm gonna have to wear red. Have to. So I'll be there. If you guys haven't bought your tickets yet or want to, and you want to get the best deal, make sure you guys use TickPick when you purchase through the app and you use code SF9ers to get $25 off your ticket purchases. So if you want to get a little bit better of a deal than you're already going to get with TickPick, make sure you use that code, baby. Let's go. So looking forward to getting down to Levi's South again. We had a good performance last time. I'm hoping for the same this time as well. So hopefully we get the dub and get to 2-1 on the season, and looking to go 3-1 against the Patriots the following week. So I think this should be a bounce back game. I really do. And I think the 49ers should come away with the dub. But again, appreciate everyone tapping in on this one. I know for a fact I'm going to this game against the Rams. There's a couple I'm thinking of, but I haven't really locked them in yet. But I'll let you guys know as we get closer to them. I'm definitely going to multiple away games this year. Grab your cookies on your way out. Smash that like button. Appreciate it, everyone. I think the next time I should see you live will be from LA. So you'd love to see it. I'll see you guys. See you guys then. All right. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to